Yo, what's up guys, my name is Severman and in today's video I will show you how to make an emotional EDM cover song. So for those of you that don't know, I've recently just released an emotional progressive house cover song of Kygo and OneRepublic song Lose Somebody, together with Robbie Rosen on the vocals, and we got released on Glow Records. So the most important thing when you want to do an emotional song or an emotional cover slash remix is definitely the melody. So you really want to make sure that you come up with a really emotional and catchy melody, and that's the one that I came up with for this song. As you can see, I layered a bunch of Nexus layers. Yeah, it's 6 Nexus layers, and then I also layered a distorted guitar sound from FL Slayer, which is a Fruity native plugin. So then I routed all of them to one bus channel in order to be able to process them all at once. So I basically just have some EQing on here, as well as some reverb automation together with the P controller, and the rest is just the sidechain and some filter and volume automation for the build-ups and stuff. Next up, let me show you how I made the bass line. So yeah, as you can tell, for the bassline I really wanted to have that aggressive talkbox kind of sound that's very common for progressive house, and I think it really adds some dope energy to the drop and to the overall song. And what I did here, I basically used a few mid-bass layers, and then I have one sub-bass layer. As usual, if you maybe watch my other videos as well, I like to use the 3x oscillator for my sub a lot because it's really easy to use, and usually I just want to have a basic sine wave or whatever, so it's really easy to set up with the 3x oscillator. So what I did then was I routed the sub bass to an individual channel, and then all the mid basses to one bus channel, and on both the sub bass and the mid bass I have a deep blue tape stop in order to create this pitch down, slow down effect. Just makes the sound a bit more interesting. And then I also just have some EQing on here, like it's pretty much just a high cut, as well as some more detailed EQing in order to get certain frequencies pop out a bit more. And then I just used Grossbeat for sidechain, the kickstart is muted, and I just have some Fruity balance for volume automation. Then let's have a quick look at the processing chain for the mid basses. So on here, the first one is also an EQ. I really wanted to clean up the sound first, and I reduced some higher bass frequencies, lower mid frequencies in order to get more of a clean sound. Then I have a camel crusher on it in order to really get that dirty sound that I was going for. Then again, we have some more EQing. Another one for a low and high cut in order to separate the mid basses from the sub bass. Then the deep blue tape stop that I already mentioned before. And then the rest is again just the Grossbeat for the sidechain, as well as some filter and volume automation. Then let's take a quick look at the chords. So then for the layers, I have one piano from True Pianos, one piano from Nexus, and then I just layered a saw synth from Silent One. And then what's also important to mention is that I add a string when you're like halfway into the drop. So for this one, I just used the Flex All String Sustain, it's called, I think. So now we already got the leads, the chords, and the bassline covers. So let's check out how these three sound together now. So already sounds pretty fat, I think, and what we're obviously missing is still the drums right now. So let's have a look at the drums. So at the top we got my kick drum as well as a ride. Then I added a clap. Then we got another ride. And then I layered a bunch of crash and downlifter sounds in order to give a lot of I always say high hand, in order to give a lot of high end and energy to the drop. And then I have a few FX sweep sounds as well as some type of FX clap sounds. Then we actually have even some more downlifters and uplifters. And then on the second half of the drop, I added some stuff. For instance, I added a snare. I think I added some type of tom or like offbeat kick drum. And then I also added some more claps, I think. So yeah, there's also this additional ambient sound in here. And then I even got some more of these ambient sounds that I haven't shown yet, so let's take a look at these as well. So these sounds really help to put even more emotion and more of a nostalgic feel into that drop, which I really wanted. And overall, these make the drop sound really round. Do you say that in English? That's like a German term. I'm not sure. But yeah, to make the drop sound more full and really finished overall, you can say. So these are all of the drop elements that we have in the song, except the vocals, but I will talk about the vocals now when we're talking about the breakdown. So let's actually go back to the actual beginning of the song, meaning the breakdown. So yeah, let me show you all of the sounds that I have in the breakdown. Let me quickly just show you the first 8 bars of the break again, so that you know how it actually sounds, but without the vocals, by the way. So at the start of this track is really open, like it has a lot of depth again, and it's quite ambience-ish. And as you can tell, what's really in the focus here is that organ that I have. And it creates also really epic type of vibe. And then we have some strings also and a fat wide bass line. So let's take a look at these elements real quick. So for both the strings and the organ, I use this VSCO2 plugin, which is also free and really cool. I use it in a lot of my tracks. You might have seen it already in a lot of other videos. And then for the bass, I think I just used a Nexus bass, like it's just some type of Reese bass, like a detuned saw pretty much. And then the difference here actually to the drop is that we're using these long 2-bar chords, and that's what really creates this like relaxed, deep, like very ambience-ish vibe. Then I'm actually also already having the leads in there at the beginning, but I'm just repeating the first bar pretty much, and I also have a filter on it. So obviously we don't want the leads like fully in at the beginning of the drop. That will make no sense. Then we have some more ambient sounds in the background. And then obviously the most important thing that's still missing for, especially when you want to do an emotional cover song or a cover song in general, or any song in general, is obviously a vocal. You really want to make sure that you have a vocal in there. So yeah, the initial idea for this cover song was obviously making one of Lose Somebody from Kygo. So yeah, how the idea came was I just like back then when I produced the song, I didn't have any vocal yet for this one. So I was just stuck with that instrumental that I had. And what I tried back then was I added a filtered a cappella of Kygo's song, and I thought it sounded really cool. And then, what was it, like half a year ago or something, I sent this demo to Glow Records, and they were actually really interested in turning this into an actual cover song. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, if you want to do a cover song, just pick your vocal that you want to cover, and then hire Robbie Rosen and let him do the vocals.
It's a classic me mistake. Someone gives me love and I throw it all away. Tell me, have I gone insane? Sometimes you gotta lose somebody just to find out. Sometimes you gotta lose somebody just to find out.
So yeah, I think Robbie Rosen again did an amazing job on this one, and generally I can just recommend him. I'm a really huge fan of his vocals, also of his songwriting, if you want to do an original song with him. But now let's head over to the chorus part of the break.
Sometimes you gotta lose somebody just to find out you really love someone.
I'm sorry for the crackling noise, but in the chorus we're basically dropping into our drop chords. So from those 2-bar chords, we're dropping into 1-bar long chords, and this already creates a bit more tension. It kind of, gets the song going. And I'm adding some drums, like a kick drum that really pushes the track forward towards the drop. Then I'm also introducing the full melody using a low-pass filter on the leads. And besides that, I also introduce the bass line of the drop. But let's take, once again, a closer look at the individual layers. Like I showed you in the drop, I do have this string in here. And then we also got the drop chords already being introduced with the filter. Again, the bass line. The leads. And then as you can see, the rest is really just some more FX sounds, like sweeps, impact sounds, in order to get the transitions really smooth, as well as some more ambient sounds that I also already showed you at the beginning of the break. So yeah, then in the build up, we're just adding some more snares. Yeah, as well as these risers that you also just heard. Maybe one more thing that we could do is, I often forget that in my walkthroughs, is let's take a look at the mastering chain, because also like a lot of you guys like request me to do that. So what we got here on the mastering is first of all just a fruity balance in order to be able to automate the input volume on my master channel. So for instance, I use that one usually in my build-ups in order to make the track a bit quieter right before the drop, and this gives the drop itself a bit more impact. And then we also have an endless smile on here, and this one also helps to create some more like tension, and it makes the build up a bit washed out because it adds a bit of reverb to it, and this also helps to just make the drop a bit more powerful. And then I just have this isotone 5 EQ on it, just in order to high cut my sounds at 16K Hertz. It's something that I personally just like to do because you can't really hear those frequencies at both 16K Hertz anyway, so that's why I just cut them away. And then you might already notice from my other tutorials is that I use sausage fattener for my limiter. This is no joke or a meme, because this thing, actually if you put it on your master, and without adjusting any knobs, will already limit your track at, I think it's minus 0.1 decibels. And I think it also does it in a really nice loud way. Like you can really push your song into it without having any weird pumping. So I can actually really recommend using this guy on the master. But yeah, I think that's it with the walkthrough of this cover. So yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you did so. Subscribe if you haven't. Comment with your feedback, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.